again in the future. So just a heads up that that's going to be happening. All right, so thank you for joining us here. I think it's just after 12 now, and my name is Angela Forster. I have the great pleasure of working with the morning and evening program here at Rotman. It is my personal favorite program that we do offer here, and I'm going to talk to you all about why that is. For myself, I have over 20 years of work experience in all sorts of different backgrounds. So no matter where you're coming from, I can usually relate in some way, shape, or fashion. And what I would say is I really enjoy working with future leaders such as yourself. So welcome, sit back, enjoy, take some notes. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them to the end. And then, like I said, we will have some students joining us at that time, so you can stick around and hear what they have to say as well. So we're going to be covering off in the next half hour why you might want to join the morning and evening MBA, and specifically why Rotman. There's a lot of different programs out there. I hope you're doing your research. We always really prefer that you do to make sure that you're going to find the program that works best for you. Not all programs are the same. And of course, there's more and more options out there. So making sure you do your research is really important. We're going to talk about how to get into the program and how much it costs. We're also going to talk about our upcoming deadline and what the application process looks like. So that's what we're going to cover off in the next half hour. All right, so what is the morning and evening MBA? This is an excellent question. It is the sister program to the full-time MBA that we have here, but it's set up a little differently. Basically, it's for people who would rather stay in their jobs and keep working and keep earning money and go back to school that way, rather than, say, giving up their job for 2 years to go back to school. Not all of us can afford to do that, or it just doesn't make sense for all of us to do that. Maybe you've already got to a point in your career where you're, mid-management or what have you, and it just doesn't make sense to go back and maybe do an internship, that kind of thing. So for the morning and evening program, it is either in the morning or the evening. You get to choose whichever works best for you. In the morning, it's 7 to 9, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And in the evening, it is 6:30 to 8:30 on the same days. Now, it is a hybrid program, and that was in place even before the pandemic. So one of those 2 days would actually be mostly online. So you'd be looking at coming in 1 day a week. Of course, right now we are still operating remotely, but the intention is that we will be going back as soon as we can. It is a cohort-based program for career enhancers that are people that are looking to move up in their career, but we also have people that have transitioned into something new. And so at 12:30, we've got Dylan Young, who's going to be joining us, and he's going to be talking about his experience and how he used this program to transition into consulting from his original career. All right, and so we have about 60 to 70 students in the morning class. There's 60 to 70 students in the evening. So all told, about 140 students in the whole class. That sounds like a big number. And just to assure you, there is a lot of small teamwork. So you're never going to feel like you're lost in the crowd. You're not a number, or, you're going to be in a very small group, but you have the advantage of being part of a larger cohort. And so therefore, you're really going to be able to build out your network. And that's a theme that I'm going to talk about a lot in this session with you here today. As you go through the session, I'm hoping that maybe, most people look at things from, how fast can I do them? Or how much money is this going to cost me? And that's really the perspective of someone who is, before they've done an MBA. But what I'd encourage you to do is think about yourself a couple of years from now, graduating from an MBA program. What's going to be important to you at that point? And I bet you it's not going to be price, and it's not going to be how fast you can get through it. What I would offer is that it probably is, how big is my network? What is the quality of that network? And what has the impact been on my career? And so we're going to be talking about some of those things here today. So by the time you graduate from this program with the 70 students in your morning, 70 in the evening, and then as you're moving through the program, you're going to get to know about 600 students that you didn't know. And that's not including alumni or that kind of thing. So lots of opportunity for networking. It's also an immersive experience. So with the full-time MBA, as I mentioned, you quit your job for 2 years to go back to school. And it's a little bit abstract. You're learning, but you're not really able to apply what you're learning in the classroom. And so what I would say to you is with the Rotman morning and evening program, you can learn, say, in the morning and then apply what you are learning right away in your workplace. And we see that time and time again from our students. We hear about experiences like that where they have something they're actually working on. Could be negotiations that they're going through or what have you, and they're learning skills that they're able to apply right away. So it's not quite as abstract, not quite as academic, but more hands-on. And of course, everybody learns differently. For me, this would be an absolutely perfect way, because for me, I would need to test what I'm learning and to really apply it to make sure that it sinks in. So the morning and evening MBA, like I said, is the extended full-time MBA program. It runs from either 28 months to 32 months, depending on how fast you would like to complete it. The first half of the program is set for you. So you're moving through with your cohort all together. You have set courses that you're going to be taking. And the reason why we have it set up that way is because we want you to be in the same cohort with the same people for that first half of the program. Again, I'll go back to networking. There are lots of other programs out there that tout flexibility right from the beginning. And that sounds really interesting, except when you start to think about it a little deeper. So for example, Adam and I might meet in our first class, and then we might never see each other again if there's that flexibility right from the beginning. And we have learned through the feedback that our students have given us about this program and the way it's set up, that what works best is if everyone's together for that first half of the program, you're able to build those strong bonds. You're kind of in it together. And then in the second half of the program, that's where we allow you the flexibility to choose majors and customizations. So in the second half, you're going to be choosing electives. There are 16 different majors that you can choose from as well, whether you're in full-time or morning and evening. The majors and specializations electives are the same. And so obviously in the second half of the program, your schedule is going to change a bit as well. It might not be Tuesdays and Thursdays anymore. We have over 100 different electives to choose from. We can't possibly fit them all in that Tuesday and Thursday time slot. So there are weekend classes available. You could take other evenings, other mornings, and sometimes you could take them during the day as well, if that works for you. So there would be crossover with other students as you're moving through the different years. And so, like I said, by the time you finish, you're going to have about 600 students that you know very well. And they're going to be part of your network now. I think there was something else I wanted to say here. Yes. So if you're interested in learning more about the majors and specializations, stay with us until 1 o'clock today. Amberine Hyatt is going to be talking all about those. And she's got lots of great information to share. And she's also bringing some students along to talk about which majors they have chosen and how things are going with them. And absolutely fabulous students, I have to say. The other thing that really makes Rotman stand out from the crowd is that we have so much more outside of the classroom. So it's not just about the 3 letters or the information you're going to glean from the classes that you're taking, but it's also about the experiences outside of the classroom. So we have the self-development lab for you. That's available in your first year. We look at you as a leader. It's a little bit like Toastmasters on steroids. It's a fantastic program. Maya Dichik, who runs that program, is actually going to be on with us tonight at 7 o'clock. So if you're interested, we'll send you the way to sign up for that. And basically, the only way to be a part of this program is if you are a Rotman MBA program. It's her belief that she wants to teach our students how to create an environment where they are comfortable receiving feedback from their peers and from their staff. And we've all seen leaders out there who, they've forgotten long ago to listen to the people that are reporting to them and take that feedback. So in order to avoid that pitfall, this is an area that you may want to explore. The Self-Development Lab, it's an absolutely awesome opportunity, and she's going to do much more justice in explaining what it's all about tonight. Creative Destruction Lab. So if we have any entrepreneurs or if we have any people who are into high tech in the house, that may be for you. We did a session last night with this. And basically it's your chance to work with a seed stage company in all sorts of different streams like AI and quantum machine learning, space. We have so many different areas that we're working with now. And then we have fellows who help run that program. And Chris Hatfield, our Canadian astronaut, is actually the fellow who helps run the space stream for us. We also have the gentleman who invented Alexa for Amazon that also is involved in that. And then we have our 2 trading labs. So there is the finance trading lab and the management, data management and analytics lab. And then beyond that, there's so much more available to you as a Rotman student. So we have, all sorts of different clubs. They're professional clubs or clubs just for fun, like the wine club or beer club. But we also have, let's see, women in business club and all sorts of different clubs that are more kind of geared towards your industry. Most of those clubs also host case competitions. And if for those of you who maybe aren't from a business background, case competitions are a really great way to get yourself in front of executives in an industry you might be interested in, or to get yourself a first round interview. And again, Dylan's going to be coming on in a little while to talk about that and how he leveraged his case competition experience to get a job in the consulting industry. And then, of course, we have global exchanges and study tours. These are going to be available in your 3rd year. So fingers crossed that the world will be a bit more normal by then and traveling will be available to you. So the global exchange is where you do a full semester abroad, and the 2-week study tour is where you do just a 2-week tour and you get a credit for that study tour. All right, and so let's talk about career services. Before we go into the details on what they actually offer, one thing I want to highlight to you, again, sort of putting on that thinking cap of being someone who is graduating from this program. The average student in this program sees 2 promotions before they've even graduated from the program. So a lot of times people in your shoes that are doing your research think, oh, I'm going to do this program and then I'm going to graduate and then something is going to happen. That's not been our experience. It's rather that you are going to see those changes happening during your time with us here at Rotman. And the Career Center is there to help, whether you are in full-time or morning and evening. We have experts there who are able to advise you, we'll do one-on-one coaching, and they're sort of split into 2 groups. So one of the groups in the career services are more generalists. They're there to help you with salary negotiation, or if you want to interview prep, that kind of thing. And then the second half are more industry specific. So if you're looking for transition into something new, we've got somebody there who can help you with that. And they have the background in terms of knowing all about that industry. Okay, so why Rotman? Let's just summarize here. It is a globally recognized MBA. You can take it with you wherever you go. And of course, as more and more people get MBAs, what is it that really differentiates you from the crowd? When I was growing up, you didn't necessarily need an MBA to get to a certain level. Nowadays, I'm sure if you've looked at any job postings, you'll see that it's definitely a requirement for most jobs at our leadership level. And so when everybody in the room has an MBA, making sure that you have a recognizable and a brand that's going to work with you and be consistent with what it is that you're looking to put forward is very, very important. Beyond that, U of T and Rotman have top ranked faculty. Their research is second to none. And but beyond that, so you're going to be learning from those people, which is awesome. But beyond that, they're just fabulous people. Really, they're willing to bend over backwards for their students, and I've seen it time and again where they're helpful in terms of finding a career or networking, that kind of thing. And then, of course, you're going to be able to develop your own personal leadership. We have leadership development practicum we haven't even talked about yet today. But basically, that looks at you as a leader. Where do you want to be in 10 years? And how do we help build the bridge to get you there? And so it is a complete MBA experience. It's not just about in the classroom. There's so much more for you to take advantage of outside of the classroom as well. And then, of course, we've already touched on the fact that there is the ability to build your largest network. And so, like I said, by the time you graduate, you're going to get to know about 600 people that you didn't know before. And that's very, very important as you move through your career, and especially as you move up in your career. 83% of people in Ontario find a job through someone that they know. So making sure that you have that network is very, very important. Okay, so what does the class look like? This is an excellent question. And actually, I think I need to update this slide, but it'll do for now. So this is really just to kind of give you a sense of the average person in the class. We have a good range, though. The range of work experience is between 2 and 20 years. The average is actually 7 as of last year. And the average GMAT score to get into the program is 640, but the range is between 550 and, of course, the top score is 800. We do welcome people from all different disciplines into this program, so you don't have to be coming from a business background to be a part of the program. We have a lot of people coming from engineering and healthcare, and more coming from social sciences and that kind of thing as well as tech. And so that's just to really give you an example of what the class profile looks like. In terms of admission criteria, here is what we're looking for. So we're looking at your undergraduate degree, but only the final year. So we are looking for a mid-B or a 3.0 or a first-class division, depending on where you studied. And so if you feel like you don't have that, please don't fret. Reach out to myself or Tara Grant, who I work with. If you've already kind of started speaking with her, then please continue, or vice versa. But we're here to help, and certainly do not write yourself off just because you don't have a 3.0. We're happy to look at your criteria and your admission package as a whole. English language proficiency tests, again, I would encourage you to speak to us before you go off and write this. It is only required if you didn't study in English in your undergrad. If you did a master's in English, then we can certainly look at that as well and see if there's a way to make an exemption for you in that case. For this program, you do require a minimum of 2 years of work experience. Like I said, the average is 7 and the range is between 2 and 20. So there's a really good diverse group of people coming into the program. And it does need to be in the Greater Toronto area. So for those of you who are joining me today from afar, what I would say is that for this program, the path is usually you get your PR and then you come into the program, if that makes sense. It is not it's not that you would get a work visa. That usually is not the way that people would come to this program, because you need a work and a study visa. And I don't think you can actually get those two things at the same time. So like I said, the usual path is a PR and then employment here in the GTA, and then we would welcome you into the program. We also need 2 references. And if you hear nothing else that I say today, let's please make note of this. So we are looking for 2 professional references. They need to be your managers, could be a past manager, could be the boss of your manager as well, but definitely not friends or colleagues. I try to emphasize this as much as I can, and every time we still get people that are sending in academic references or colleagues. They really have to specify that they are a manager, and your manager, and how and when they managed you. So that's very, very important to the admission committee. And then beyond that, everybody's favorite topic is the GMAT and GRE. We do require that for this program. For the GMAT, we are looking for between 550 and 800 is the top score. We do accept the GRE as well. The minimum score would be 156 on both the verbal and the quant to get to the equivalent of about a 550 on the GMAT. And then if you have a CFA3, congratulations, first of all. And second of all, we do waive the GMAT and GRE for people with CFA3. And then beyond that, there are 2 small essays that you would need to write, and then we would invite you in for an interview once all of that information is in hand. So that, I think, is what I'm going to say about that. Oh, here we go. So here's a little bit more information about the GMAT and GRE. So you can see here the minimum entrance requirement for the GMAT and GRE, like I said, 550 and 156. If you're looking for entrance awards, who isn't, then we start to consider you for entrance awards above a 600, and then 650 and above, or a CFA3 for those distinguished awards. So those are important milestones to keep in mind. Of course, we are looking at the quality of your application, and we are looking to make sure that you are well-rounded, but just to let you know, these are some benchmarks in terms of awards on the GMAT and GRE requirement. All right, and then we have distinguished awards. So what is that? Essentially, it's a named award. It's usually higher in terms of monetary value, but there's lots of different options. Like we have a Rotman Commerce Award for people coming in as from their undergrad at Rotman Commerce, Forte Fellowships for the ladies, all sorts of engineering awards, a humanitarian award. So lots of different areas there to consider. And you don't need to reapply for these awards. You are considered for them as you are coming through the program. So we're looking at the caliber of your application to consider you for these awards. The next application deadline is coming up on February 9th. If you have a 600 and above, or a CFA3, the minimum entrance award you are guaranteed is $8,000. So that's an $8,000 entrance award guarantee if you're coming through February 9th with your application and a 600 and above. You actually have until the end of April to write your exam. So you can apply by February 9th, and then as long as you've written your GMAT or GRE by the end of April, you can still be considered as part of this pool. So hopefully that is helpful to you. And then on the expenses side, so the program itself costs about $30,000 a year for the 3 years. Entrance awards range from $5,000 to $30,000. And we do have a loan program through RBC and BMO where Rotman pays the interest on your loan for the whole time that you are in school. So I hope that that is going to be helpful to you. I'm just going to check now to see, we've got a bunch of people coming in. I'm not sure if they have joined us yet or not. So we'll just have a look. I know there's a few more minutes left before they need to be here. So maybe what we'll do is I can open it up to you and you can ask any questions that you might have about the program.
Hello.
Hi there.
My name is Katerina. I was wondering, I'm not from Canada, right? So I supposed to do IELTS, and I would like to know the average score minimum at least that I need, because I did the IELTS and I had like 6.5, but I believe it's not enough.
So it will usually be about 7. And were they the academic version or
Yes,
the, okay.
academic.
Okay, great. Yes. So you might need to retake them. But like I said, the best course of action is really to just reach out to us. Let's have a look at your file together and we can verify that you indeed need to write them. Does that make sense?
Yes, it
Okay,
does.
awesome.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
No, just one more, sorry.
Of course. Yeah, no, go ahead.
So just to make sure, like 7, I'm gonna do for in next week. Obviously, I already booked, so I will do. I just want to know, 7 has to be average, or it has to require all the writing, reading, listening, and speaking.
It's 7 across the board.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Thank
all
you.
of them. Okay, no problem. All right. I see we have Tashar who has joined us. So welcome.
Hey, Angela.
Hello. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. So we're just waiting on a couple of other people to join us. Oh, there's Dylan. Fantastic. I'm just going to make him a co-host. And then I